Welcome, everyone. This is the Women in Action Sports Network Conversation Space. I am Alba Pardo, and today we sit here with Caroline Buchanan whilst at Audi 9's 2021 to discuss the progression of female mountain bike athletes, as well as her career and achievements, the importance of representation and support, and her scholarship program for the next generations of women riders. Caroline is a 3-time BMX World Champion, a 5-time mountain bike World Champion, and a dual Olympian athlete. She has been riding her bike for well over 2 decades, and she has become one of the Australia's most popular female action sports athletes. But she's just much more than that. Besides a pro athlete and a businesswoman, she's a social media talent, a mentor, and a proud advocate for women in sports. It's so refreshing and so inspirational to sit down with her and listen to the story about not only promoting and pursuing her sports career, but empowering the future generations to follow their same dream. So I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as we did, and you will see that we almost tear up at some point and our voices clog because it becomes so deep and so real. So without further ado, please welcome Caroline Buchanan. Caroline, I like to always start these conversations by asking your story. Tell me your story. Where do you come from? Who you are? What do you do?
I'm Caroline Buchanan. I'm from Australia. I've basically been on 2 wheels my whole life. I started racing when I was 5 years old. Racing world championships at 9, went through national, state to worlds, really young, was on the BMX tour then for the next 20 years, won 16 national titles, 8 world titles, in my BMX mountain biking career, 4 cross and BMX. I was lucky enough to represent Australia at 2 Olympic Games, so my first one being the London Olympics in 2012 and then on to Rio 2016. So bikes have been what I've just enjoyed my entire life, and now it's wound me up here in the quarry at Audi 9s as part of the first female ignition here and part of 9 girls taking on this quarry.
How did you discover your love for the 2 wheels?
I love sport. I think I came from that cycling background. My dad, he was from the UK, he did road cycling, bit of track cycling, so that sprinter cycling genetic. But I think for me, as a young girl, I wanted to just follow my brother. Any sport he did, I tried. I found myself in the team sports like soccer and cricket, netball. I wanted to score the goal, but I wanted to defend the goal. I really liked that the individual side of BMX and riding. I love that sensation that success was on you, but failure was on you. I really love that ownership and the highs and lows that being an individual athlete gives you. So once I found BMX, I was addicted to that. And then obviously, the adrenaline and the drive and just how far it could take me from such a young age. Yeah, and then...
You talk about the individuality of the sport, which is also can be one of the downsides about it, because you not feel alone, but you kind of have to do it on your own. How have you lived that experience of being in a individual sport and then kind of moving it and making it in a community and progressing and keep you pushing? How do you do that?
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. When I was growing up, there weren't too many girls in the sport. BMX, you couldn't really make a career out of racing. It was an Olympic sport when I was growing up. So for me to be what I couldn't see was quite a challenge. But I just found that I diversified quite young, which was my first sort of challenge. I started mountain biking at 15, so I jumped between BMX, mountain bike, and I would go between all the disciplines, downhill, 4-cross, and everyone was trying to put me into that niche and tell me just to be one thing, just do that. But I loved it. I loved doing everything, and I loved the bike skills and just what I learnt from doing a bit of everything. It kept me fresh. I think being 30 now and starting at 5 years old, and this has been my job the whole time, it's been a real asset value to be that individual, but to work with brands and companies and really broad spectrum kind of all of the cycling, bring everyone together. So that sort of helped me being a female and creating a brand out of it and building those 15-year relationships with brands like Oakley, Fast House, Maxis, Bell Helmets. You know, they've been along the whole ride across anything I've done. And yeah, through the highs and lows of injury, they then support you all the way through, and they've been really nice to not put pressure on me to, you know, if I want to go to another Olympics, they support that. If I want to come to Audi 9s and throw down and be a part of making history, then they support that too.
A tricky question that I like to ask, especially for women and athletes that have been in it for a long time, is like, what do you want to be when you grow up? In the sense of, okay, you've been on the bike for the whole of your life, and I imagine you want to keep on top of it as long as you can. But how do you envision yourself taking it to the next level and becoming a bigger, better, more whole human in the sport?
Definitely. Well, I think the progression, once you're prepared and the window's open, you then are ready to take on that next challenge. And I've always found that by learning dirt jumping, skate park, like all these diverse skills, but also off the bike with brands, with speaking, with endorsements, with putting myself out there, that is really what opens the doors to the future. And I think, sometimes it's terrifying to jump into that whole next realm and unknown, and to go from a world champion to back, put your L plates on and you're learning again. And so I think that's sort of been really refreshing for me. When I want to grow up, I guess I've rode kids' bikes my whole life for a living. I guess I want to just be known as, you know, someone that's not only succeeded, but has left that pathway open for the next girls and shown them that, you know, you can be a girl, and you can be pretty, and you can be strong, and you can be fierce, and you can be relentless, and have all these factors, and, you know, that's still feminine. So that's like been a really big part of me. Like, I love wearing makeup when I ride, like, you know, but I love riding with the boys and getting dirty. So yeah, I think just being that vision for girls as well, that they can identify with and they can do it too. I've put back a lot of my time into like Buchanan Next Gen, which was a scholarship program I started. It was 12 girls now over the last 7 years, and every year through BMX I bring on 2 new scholarship girls. And the format was from the national championships in Australia, they'd get their $5,000 mentoring from me, and that grant and scholarship and mentoring would help them go to the world stage, to the world championships, compete for Australia and have that opportunity they may not have ever had. From there now, with the world and everything being a little bit different, I've stripped that back and I've decided to open it up and rebrand it and open up to more diverse, really true to my roots of mountain biking, BMX, and I want to expand it to moto. So whether it's motocross, supercross, basically any girl who's on 2 wheels has the opportunity to apply. So I'm rebranding it, calling it Ignite, and it's all about igniting the future potential from 13 years old all the way to 19. And they basically, in the next 2 weeks, they'll start pitching their dreams, their projects. Ideally, it's a 4-month window, so whether they have a gap in their strength, they need a trainer or nutrition, or, you know, they want to do some media workshops, maybe they have an airbag, or they need a BMX gate start, or they want to make a motocross track on some property. Whatever their goal is, that's what Ignite will do. It'll ignite that dream, help make it happen. They'll get the $1,000 content budget to broadcast it, and the sponsors will share it. Wow. I'll help mentor them through working with videographers, and, you know, some of the unknown as a 13-year-old girl, you've probably never approached a videographer, or how do you do that? How do you put content out? So help kind of guide them through that to create it and to share their vision and what they've achieved through that Ignite scholarship. And the financial side is the $4,000 to help make that happen. So
I love how
3
casual
girls.
you're about it, and how low key, and how just like, I'm just doing this as well as being like trying to write my best every single day, and I'm just supporting girls, up and comers, and paving their way and
chipping away.
That's just
over time
such a huge project, and you know, in all levels. And how do you see the scene? How has it changed in Australia? But also, have you seen other women trying to follow your steps or brands or other people trying to?
I think it's so gone are the days of, you know, women not having the same opportunities. now it's like a blessing to be a female in action sport world, to be a girl riding bikes right now. The industry is hungry, the events are hungry, the opportunities are there, the platforms are there. There's girls like Casey Brown, she has her event now that started. I have my scholarships. You know, I think as a whole we're all kind of realising the struggles we went through and that we're stronger as a team, we're stronger together. And yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited because it's the best time ever, I think, to be in action sport.
Sometimes you get these comparisons that the guys say, oh, we never had anything like this, we never had this attention, we never had this help, we never had all of this, but I also think probably it wouldn't have worked for them. How is your vision, or what's your opinion about how women learn differently and they need different tools and they just progress in a very different way? So the ways that have been opened by men aren't quite always the same or even useful for the women in this sense, because we all learn differently.
Definitely.
And you can really see the struggle this week here. Not the struggle, but the progression, you know, the journey you girls are going through. It's very different than what the men are doing.
Definitely.
And you're yet still riding the same venue, the same jumps, the same lines, but you do it in a very different way.
Yeah,
What's
a little
your
bit
experience
more
with it?
calculated, I'd say. Yeah. I would say for me it's, you know, I've always been inspired to try ride like a boy, to train with the boys, they've always been the standard. So, you know, like
Your brother, your big
my
brother.
brother, you know, they've been the goalpost and they're the ones that have always inspired me. And I still to this day, you know, I'll grab a guy because they've already calculated a jump and they've sent it first and they've kind of held a bit of the risk and responsibility. And then I'll follow them in. So it's just putting yourself out there and, you know, to bring the girls into a perfect environment like this, we need the guys. We love their emotions. We love their support. We love really just their knowledge. So to have that, but to also have the progression, some of the safe things to warm up on so that we can step through. And I think as well with more of the downhill orientation, the slope, the free ride, when you bring in 9 girls from all different diverse backgrounds, there's a little bit for everyone. And I think with the girls, we're sort of just like learning to sort of stay in our lane, ride to our strengths and ride to our abilities. But to go home each night and, you know, we're in this together, we stay together, that's kind of the really nice blend. And I love the small elements that the small line's not called the women's line. It's called the jam line. And the guys are throwing down and the start of every session, they're over there with us having the most fun, setting the most world records on our jump. So, you know, I think that's probably the fun part with the guys here. It's reminding them of their beginnings and, you know, what they felt at their first Audi 9s is what we're feeling now.
And to translate that into your program as well, have you applied all of these experiences into creating this program in a way that it suits the girls?
Yes.
In the way, it's windy, in the way, it's gonna fall. Yeah, I guess any of this program maybe wouldn't have worked as well or the same way for the guys. So it's really tailored to suit these girls, isn't it?
Yes. And I think too the fact that Audi have allowed everyone from a 14-year-old girl with Patricia here, the youngest, right through to Joey Goff, who she helped pioneer this sport. She's 40. I mean, the broad spectrum of girls, like, it's insane. I'm 30 and I'm midway, like, what? This is where we're all at right now. I think, you know, to have everyone here. 14's a real tough age for girls. That's why I structured my scholarship program initially around 14 to 15. I knew that was a time for me that you're trying to make a career out of it. You're questioning, do you get a real job or, you know, do you take on these risks? Do you put everything on the line for, you know, your career? That's kind of that dropout point for girls. So I really tried to help tailor that. Lane Beachley, 7-time world surf champ, she helped me with her scholarship. It was called Aim for the Stars. So for 3 years when I was growing up, around 14, 15, you know, she helped me with that mentoring. And the biggest thing was when she gave me a call and said, you know, you've not only got my Aim for the Stars scholarship, but I believe in you. It was those simple words of, I believe in your career and your riding and your success that meant the difference. And, you know, she helped strip away for me those limiting beliefs. When I won my first world title, I was so excited, and I called her, and we had this amazing conversation. But she was like, "You're going to beat my 7 one day." And I was like, "Lane, no. And she's like, "You will. Don't set any roof, don't set any boundaries. Like, you know, I'm here with you all along the way." And when I won my 8th world title, I called her back up, and I was like, I love you, but I beat you. So it was that such healthy, you know, she stripped away the limiting belief. She believed me early, and then you succeed. And that was, for me, why I started Next Gen, and why I'm now evolving with the times to go, okay, it needs to be Ignite. I really want this to diversify again, BMX, mountain bike, moto, bigger age bracket, because we're seeing such a big age gap right now. Yeah, for me, it gives me so much energy, because I can not only succeed myself, but to turn around and then be like, oh my God, I've helped make a difference or make that happen. And
so is your biggest wish that a girl gets 9 or 10?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
That's amazing. Like, I got a bit plugged up with emotions just to hear your story. It's amazing what you're doing.
Yeah.
What you're thriving for, to see you ride, to see you bring the girls together, see you smile all the time. And, and your passion's like, oh yeah, and by the way, on the side, I'm helping all these other girls do the same and,
yeah,
and
you
get
just
bigger and better.
Compartmentalize it all. Like, you know, this week's about me, and next week I go back into quarantine in Australia for 14 days, and you know, then I'll put all that time and effort into, you know, the behind the scenes of the scholarships, the emails, the endorsements, the media.
Talk to me.
Podcasts.
That's a very good point you've made there.
Yeah.
This week is about me.
Yeah.
How do you make that? How do you keep that space? And how do you protect it and respect it?
Yes. It took, I think, time in my career where I did say yes to all the sponsors. I said yes to all the media. I guess I've always been really approachable, but I did burn out. And then when I had injuries and setbacks and, you know, was out of the sport for a few years and come back in, you do learn that healthy relationship of it's okay to be your best cheerleader. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to say, you know, like, I can be selfish today. I want to set a world's first, or, you know, I have this goal. That should never be frowned upon, you know, to be like, I'm so proud of myself, but then to turn around and create that space and give back and cheer on someone else. Like, it's not spoken about enough, but I think it's so attractive when someone really puts himself out there and has that bubble, but nurtures himself and nurtures other people.
Otherwise, it wouldn't progress. It wouldn't go any further.
Yeah.
I love this. I love all about it. Just to do a little recap.
Yep.
So any girl from Australia
Yes.
that is in 2 wheels
Yes.
can apply to be part of Ignite. And
Yep. Follow through my channels, Caroline Buchanan, through Instagram. I'll start posting, and yeah, in the next 2 weeks, Ignite will pop up. Yeah, and it's all, there's like a lightning bolt, the eyes upside down, it's, you know, an exclamation mark, and that's the branding, that's the logo. And the reason behind that, it's that statement piece. It's that exclamation mark that, you know, the I in Ignite, it's about the girls, it's about what they can do, and it's about the ignition of that dream. So,
and
that's
about
the
today,
branding.
tell me, what do you want to do today?
So actually today, weather permits, I've been practicing back home in Australia in the last 4 months. I was aiming for the Tokyo Olympics of BMX, missed the qualification for my 3rd Olympics, and I had that perfect timing of one door closes, one door opens. Sophie called me from Audi 9s the next day and said, hey, we're having girls for the first time, do you want to be here? And I was like, I'll be there. So yeah, we're here now, and I've rebuilt my backyard. I've got some dirt jumps and I've got an airbag. I've been working on some front flips to the airbag. Landed quite a few, feel pretty confident. So I'd love to, on this jump behind me, take it to dirt and it'd be a world's first for women.
We'll
That's
be there
the goal.
watching. We'll be there watching. Thank you so much for
Thanks.
having this chat with us. We wish you the best. I wish you the best. This is
Thanks.
amazing. Please don't stop being you. Please don't stop doing what you do, because you bring this lightning bulb to the
Awesome.
group and to the scene. So
Thanks
thank
for the
you.
platform.
Thank you.